Hi, warriors. Here we are, day one, healing emotional and physical trauma. This is such a lovely workshop. This really sets the foundation, a big, broad foundation for us to be able to work with anybody, knowing that we all come into this world really through suffering, right? We're certainly in a place of collective suffering right now. And with it brings an opportunity for this knowledge to be embodied in a way that is so powerful. The more I have been experiencing this pandemic with this knowledge, the more solid I am with it, right? The deeper my understanding is, allows me to move with a lot more compassion and ease and grace for myself, has to come here first and foremost, and then I can extend that to others. So it's okay to come here and just work on ourselves, to just really give ourselves that big compassion and embrace during our practice. That's what it's about. So let's get started. Make sure you have either a couple blocks if you can. I should have told you this already. If I didn't, I'm sorry in advance, but I probably did. If you have eggs, fantastic. We can talk more about those. If not, don't worry, just have blocks. Since you're at home, hey, the beauty of it is we can have our pillows. It is not the best. So grab a pillow. We're going to use it. All right, here we go. Get started. I just have to do one technical thing here real quick. Okay. Oh, one more technical thing. Hold on. I'm still here. You know, where are your assistants when you need them? Little glass of water. I'm gonna need it because I talk a lot. All right, now let's get started. Little humor never hurt to start with. So we're gonna come onto our backs, have your blocks handy, have something to put over you later for the end as well, like a shawl or something or a blanket. I think that's about it. If you like to use oil, a grounding, centering blend like doTERRA's Balance or Young Living's Valor, those are great ones, or anything with a tree element to it, something with a heavier element, and you can put it on the back of the neck. Yeah, that's actually where the dorsal vagal line is. There is a nervous system line there, just like animals who have to, you know, surrender willingly to their mothers to pick them up by the nape of the neck. That's a powerful place to put an oil for that reason. So maybe give that a try if you haven't. I just wouldn't put it on your feet, right? Because we're going to be moving our feet. Let's come on to our backs. Let's go ahead and get started. So as we find ourselves shifting onto our backs, let's bring our hands to our belly. Using hands, right? Little easy way to increase, turn up the volume of awareness and information that's flowing from the gut. This is not really going to tell us how our bodies are doing. That's what the body's doing, right? Oh, that makes sense. That's a forehead slap moment. But here, that's where we put our hands to our belly. Okay, really, how are we doing? How are you doing? How are we doing? Every moment, every day, a new challenge, a new awareness, the depth of what this really means for our society and for us settles in a different way. So we're all having to navigate uncharted territory, new waters. But the good news is we have a tool that is so powerful during these times, and that is knowing who we are. And if you know who you are, then you can navigate any difficulty, right? It doesn't change the difficulty from happening in our world, but boy, how we respond to it, that's everything. That determines what we're going to be able to stay open to. We're going to be able to stay open to creative new possibilities to solve these problems, open to relationships and having those difficult moments of connection with our loved ones, with our spouses, our children, our friends who are suffering. And we're going to be able to sit with them because we can sit with our own suffering. And I'm here to sit with you with it. Yes, and you're with me. That brings great comfort indeed. Hands to belly. Let's just notice where we are here. Take notice of the room, maybe the temperature of the air around you. What room of your house are you in? Or no, who knows? Maybe you're outside if you're lucky enough. Let's notice the day and time that it is whenever we're practicing. And then let's start to feel our breath. Let's start to shift our awareness to our breath as it comes in through the nose. Can we allow softness and expansion to come around the nostrils, really relaxing, feeling ease there, and to the sides of the nostrils, the sides of the nose. Notice that tension point kind of goes there. Let that relax if you can. Increasing our sensory awareness through the breath, allowing it to pour into our bellies if we can. Hopefully we're starting to feel the gentle rise and fall of our bellies here. Can we extend the exhale a little bit longer? Just allowing the exhale to come deeper into the belly and lower back towards the spine even. Can you put the trail of the breath more towards the back body? And then starting to notice our back body, starting to notice the places where the shoulder blades touch the floor. Can we relax, melt the tops of the shoulders a little bit more intentionally? And then also lower down on either side of our hips on the back side. Both points of the pelvis on either side of the sacrum. Can we intentionally bring awareness there? And just notice that connection point. So we have those 4 big connection points, 2 at the top of the shoulders and 2 at the bottom of the low back, at the top of the back of the pelvis. And again, just allowing the breath to start to increase this sense of space, connection awareness, almost like, think of it like a webbing or a trampoline feeling, right? That kind of material has some buoyancy, some fluidity. You can start to feel it come back to life there in a very relaxed way, starting to create a little bit more space to the sides of the belly. So more of that lateral breath, right? Breathing into the side seams. You could even bring your hands wide to the sides of the body if it's comfortable for you, or just the palms, thumbs towards the rib cage, pinky fingers towards the hip bones. And so let's see if we can expand the breath naturally more to the sides of the belly. Again, softening there. I like to imagine the jellyfish body, right? How soft it is towards the sides, that rippling effect. Where I'm always surprised at how much unconscious tension I hold in the sides of my belly. To be truthful, stress and tension likes to congest, condense in the side body. That's why we can get more sensitive there, right? The startle response or the tickle response. I don't know about you, but I do not like being tickled, right? Or touched to the side body. It's very sensitive. That may be one of the reasons. So one more nice deep breath. So this is important. We're releasing, relaxing the psoas here a little bit, creating some fluidity, some movement through the spine that's a little bit more relaxed, but that turns on that information flow from the vagus nerve, from the gut up to the mind, right? We're hydrating, we're tilling the soil here in the depths of the belly. And what does that do? That increases awareness in the mind. We increase blood flow up there, but also connection, right and left brain, and then up from the primal brain to the limbic to the frontal lobes. Once we start to turn that on, right, then we move in a different space. We have a different map, one much more connected here through the body, through the body. And then let's go ahead and bring our hands, our fingertips, our first 2 fingers here, to our hip bones, yes. Bring our feet, make sure if they weren't hip distance, we'll bring them hip distance. And we're just gonna start to lift one heel and then the other, nice and slow. Right, really feel the heel as it connects down to the mat. Maybe ground down, press down through the one heel. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna flow side to side here. Relax that side, lift the other heel up, and then again, really press down to that heel. You feel the hip point lift up a little bit. Okay, one more time each side, pressing down through one heel. Feel the hip point lift up. That sort of rocking boat feeling through the hips. And then the other side, press down and feel that connection there. So we have 2 hips, 2 legs. We kind of feel that. Now we're going to do something a little different. Now let's go ahead and lift our feet up. Let the shins dangle. Let's just point flex the feet. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the toes. That always feels good. Wiggle the toes if we can. Roll the ankles around. 70% of proprioception happens from the ankles and the feet up to the mind. So we just want to turn on the proprioceptive system, right? Embodied system. All right, and then slowly we're going to tick-tock slowly the toes down to the mat, just one at a time. Just find one toe, slowly roll it. Now we're going to go super slow here because what I want us to feel is, where are we compensating? Are we really gripping in my low belly or my low back? The answer to me is yes. If my foot is coming to the ground, I can feel this super big grip in my low belly and a little bit in my low back. So let's pause, let's reset. Walk the hip bones back. Okay, those are our compensation patterns. By the way, they can also kind of get shifty and go up to the shoulders and the neck. And now I'm turning my head to face you. Hopefully you can follow me without having to do that. All right, slowly bringing one toe, super slow. I want us to stop when we feel the low belly really start to grip, or the low back start to grip or overarch. right? It's a natural arch. We don't want to increase that. And we're just going to lift the knee back up, keeping the shin and the foot relaxed, coming to the other side. So slowly tapping the ground, maybe not. Maybe one side you're able to do it without compensating, but you can't on the other side. That's very common. We tend to prefer one side to compensate from, right or left, right? And that's a fascinating discussion. So continue to alternate toe taps, just noticing if you can stay with awareness, if you can use your breath and awareness to not compensate, that's a victory. It's also a victory to say, listen, I can't stop compensating and come back up, right? Reset where you can. Sometimes we get the hips kind of right, without compensating, or the low belly, and then the shoulders go, okay, well, I guess I got to do it now. See how tricky it is? It happens so fast below the level of consciousness, which is why we have to go slow, or we're just not going to discover those patterns. All right, my hip flexors have said that's enough, right? Maybe yours have too. All right, we're going to do this little thing. You can either do windshield wipers with the legs, or I'm going to encourage you to wrap, if you can, right leg over the left. If not, just gentle windshield wipers. So right leg over the left, arms gently out to the side, palms up. Let's really relax the thumbs. Maybe walk the shoulders underneath. We're going to slowly, you got to go slow, slow, slow. We're going to bring the knees over to the left, right? So slowly over to the left. Notice what's happening. Any compensation through the right shoulder. You can slightly turn your head to the right, really relax through the belly here. We don't want to go to the point where we're pulling, where we feel this is really a pull or a pressure. We're not after a stretch here. We're trying to notice those patterns of compensation as it travels upwards. So keeping the right shoulder relaxed. All right, slowly come back through center. And then we're just going to simply unwind and switch sides. So we're going to notice the other side. So left leg over the right if we can. The head can stay turned towards the left a little bit. And again, we got to go slow because I want us to notice, when does the front of this left shoulder or the left rib cage start to pull away from the mat, or the front of this left shoulder start to tense? So can you keep it relaxed? It's the same drill that we were doing in the low belly and the low back. We're just noticing the upper line as it goes. So we have a lower psoas line and an upper psoas line. Now I'm really feeling some outer hip. I've gone too far. I'm going to come back up. And again, we're doing it to notice. All right, let's do something a little different. Let's bring our arms straight overhead. The feet are just hip distance now, feet flat. Let's bring our palms together, arms straight overhead, best we can, keeping the elbows straight if you can. All right, now let's slowly, noticing what the arms do. We're gonna bring both arms over to the left. Don't let the elbows bend. What happens? What do you have to do? How far can you go without the elbows bending? What's happening behind the shoulder? Again, we're just trying to naturally free up the area behind the shoulder blade, behind the right shoulder blade. Take a nice big breath. Don't let the elbows bend. You got to trust me on this, what's going to happen here. Inhale back through center. Relax the shoulders down. Soften the neck and the jaws. And let's go over to the left with it just a little bit. Now I stop and I have to really concentrate on the area behind my shoulder blade. Can I relax that area there? You notice that's the area behind the heart, the back wall of the heart chamber. That's where we tend to harden our heart. It has effects down lower through the belly, through the hips. So just focusing on breathing there. What can we release? Keeping the arms straight. Ah, there, I got it. I got a little bit more movement by really focusing on the area behind the heart. Okay, now back through center, release the arms. We're gonna do that leg thing one more time. Let's test, let's see what happens, right? Who knows? Just let's explore. We're being curious here. What do we call that? Svadhyaya, self-study. Okay, right leg over the left, slowly. Head could turn to the right, relax. Right shoulder stays relaxed. Go super slow. Notice maybe you got to go a little farther without compensating or feeling a pull or a big structural pressure. We don't want that. All natural organic movement. I definitely got farther without feeling that as a pull in my outer hip. That's a victory. Unwind. Wrap the left leg over the right. Okay, head turns to the left, and we're gonna slowly bring the knees over to the right. Slow, slow, slow. I definitely got farther on that side. I definitely got it. I can feel it in my outer hip, but I got farther than before when I did it, right? Just noticing what's happening to the shoulder. All right, unwinding, coming back through center. Let's take the block now. Oh, good. I can find mine right over my head. Let's place it between the thighs. All right, so let's take our hands, wiggle our fingers, roll the wrist around. Let's take the palms of the hands, my favorite thing to do, awareness here. Draw a line with the palm of the hand over your hip bone, across like that. There's the crevice, right? There's the valley of the hip creases. Notice there's an awareness there that's really different because that's where the psoas surface is, and it's a really intelligent, quote, muscle, not a muscle, biointelligent material of the body. Yes, emotionally intelligent. And then gently press the tops of the thighs away, breathing the palms, breathing the thighs, touching the thighs so we can really feel what's happening to the legs, remaining calm and strong through the leg bones. Relax more through the hips. Okay, so that's the sensation we want to keep here as we flow through bridge. Arms out to the side, palms up or down, your choice. I prefer my palms open. Let's really find the feet, lift the toes, fan the toes into the mat. The root system at each base of the toe drives deep into the floor. We gently squeeze the block. It's a Goldilocks squeeze without squeezing the shoulders, keeping the shoulders relaxed. We're going to start to peel the tailbone, then the sacrum off the mat, slowly lifting the spine. Feel the fluid motion of the spine as we come up into our bridge. Pause to a neutral bridge. If you need to adjust the shoulders here, please do so. Finding the heels gently pressing down. Try to press the block down. Can you relax the sits bones, the bottom part of the pelvis, right? I know the glutes are active, but we're not clenching or squeezing them. That's a mistake. Let's find an awareness around the sacrum as we gently press the block down. As we feel the calm strength through the legs, can we go back to that baby belly breathing? Jellyfish breathing here. Feel the chest stay expanded. Feel the softness behind the heart. Melt the base of the neck, melt the jaws and the face. The thumbs stay soft. This is what we want to memorize. This way of approaching our life. This physical embodied calm strength feeling through the body. Can we find this more often when things get difficult? And then slowly, again, with tons of awareness, articulating the spine down, really taking our time, nice and slow, heaviness through the low back, the sacrum. Move the block to the side. Let's go ahead and take flowing bridge. This time, your choice how high you want to lift. You can just do pelvic rocks, slowly rocking, tick-tocking over to the tailbone, rocking back over to the sacrum, or lifting the hips. Again, keeping that same feeling we just found on the inhale. Exhaling, slowly lowering down. At the very end, go for a lot of space for the low back and a heavy feeling through the pelvis. Inhaling, when the inhale starts, then the hips slowly lift up. Fluid motion here, integrated connection, especially on the way down. Again, grounding, feeling the difference. Inhaling, just finding our breath, flowing with our breath, flowing bridge. Option on the exhale, floating the arms overhead. You don't have to. Keeping the shoulders, the elbows, the thumbs nice and soft if we do it. Again, just continue to flow with your breath. As the hips come high, you would reverse the hands back towards the feet. Can you find a breath that's more integrated, right? Slowing the breath down, finding a more soft approach to our breath expands the sense of space and connection in the body. And with it comes a different kind of strength, a different embodied kind of strength, and one we may not be used to, because if we're used to moving with reptilian strength, it doesn't feel like this, right? It has tension in the hips, it has tension in the shoulders and the neck and the jaws. This does not. But notice that it is a integrated strength here. It's a whole different fabric we've created here, and a whole different possibility of moving through space differently this way. It changes everything. It changes everything. And then when we're ready, as the hips come down, let's draw the right knee in. Should feel good after that. Slow hip circles around the right hip joint. Heavy, thick, viscous, slow hip circles, right? Keeping it nice and relaxed. Maybe go the other direction. And then let's just go ahead and pause, hugging the right knee in, point, flex the foot again, fan the toes, maybe curling up. Imagery of caterpillar spine, right? I go with it because it works. It's Liz Cook's imagery and I love it. Jaw stay soft. Feel the spine wanting to curl in, right? This protective, but also feels good approach to coming inward. Sometimes we've got to do this motion, right? And then inhale, finding the opposite motion, pressing the feet flat, maybe arcing the low belly up to the ceiling. Press the palms as if we're taking a big morning stretch. I love that. Feels good. Exhaling, switching. Left knee hugs in, slow, heavy hip circles. Again, feel free to roll the ankles around too, whatever feels good. Maybe go the other direction. Again, rolling our hips here, just experiencing our hips differently from the space of awareness, relaxed, at ease, but deep content there, yes? All the content of our lives are in there. And then hugging our left knee in. Again, strong, but calm through the legs. Caterpillar curls in. So then the back of the heart, the shoulders, the neck, everything stays relaxed. And then slowly inhaling, pressing the feet flat, maybe arcing the belly, press the tailbone towards the earth, stretch the arms out of the mid back. And now we flow, exhaling, right knee hugs in, option to extend the left leg long, option to caterpillar curl in. And then when we inhale, we float the arms overhead, full body stretch from tip to tail. As we exhale, we hug the left knee in. So just continuing to flow. And now we're doing something super important with the breath. We're allowing it to move us. We're trusting, we're turning our practice, the keys of our practice, to this vehicle, this vessel, over to the breath. The breath is incredibly aware and intelligent and increases the ability to move calmly, but with strength and purpose, confidently in our lives. Let the breath, when the breath gets erratic or when the breath gets short or just chest breathing, we lose all ability to approach our lives in novel ways. We lose that problem-solving ability, that creative ability to approach our lives differently. Our frontal lobe turns off and we go to those reptile movement patterns, right? We don't want to do that. So the breath is fundamental to our practice. We know that, and now we know it, how important it really is, right? And so sometimes we just say it, we don't do it, we're doing it. This is it. It's all about the breath. Okay, finally, let's go and hug both knees into the chest, either around the thighs or shins. You guys know our choices. Heavy feeling through the low back, deep inhale, lengthening through the tail. It's a nice long collapsing exhale through the belly, back to that deep line to the back body. Let the back really imprint into the mat on the exhale. One more time, big inhale. Establishing a new contract with ourselves for our practice, a new intention. Yes, that's a sankalpa. Our intention is to stay grounded, centered, embodied, and to trust in the breath, to not have to have the answers, to move from a place that's connected and expansive, but also not knowing necessarily, exactly what's going to happen. Don't worry. It's going to let you know. It's going to move you for you. The breath will. Trust, trust. And then let's go ahead and slowly roll over to all fours. So as we come to all fours, your instructor is going to get a little sip of water. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a really grounded cat-cow, but from different approach here. So hands wide if we can, and I know that's a problem. We might have to do fist or wrist, totally fine, but let's see if we can start a little differently. So if you have the ability to come up onto your fingertips, let's do so. Otherwise, let's come onto our fist, but really shift back a little bit so it's more unweighted through the shoulders, keeping the toes tucked. Okay, so we're going to contrast this, which makes us feel really light and ungrounded, like a cat, right? Like kind of like scared and like on the claws and like, making myself really big in my back. And so let's see if we can find that kind of cat-like approach to the spine. Notice we're unweighted through the shoulders and the toes are tucked. Pull the belly in, really feeling that beautiful rounding through the back. It feels good. Okay, now how heavy can we make ourselves? So first thing is, if you can, top of the feet and the shins press down into the mat. Next is the hands, right? Keeping the elbows slightly bent, shifting awareness into the knuckles and the webbing between the hands, and really press down. Feel that strength come up through the arms and press down through the shins, right? Heavy, heavy, heavy feeling. Okay, now shift the hips back. We want to loop the elbows in. We want to try to turn two jars open away from one another. So we create this shelf-like approach, but the movement is coming from the upper back. Feel the hip bones expand apart behind you, and then try to pull the mat back with the hands at the same time. Soften behind the heart and feel the chest expand forward, and the neck, say super relaxed, able to move. making sure we're staying connected to the knuckles and the webbing of the hands. Okay, exhale, we're gonna reverse that, right? Scooping the belly, really rounding the spine. One more time, tucking the toes if we can, coming onto the fingertips, feeling the difference, really contrasting these experiences with gravity and how we approach our own practice, our bodies with gravity, just by shifting what our intention is. Notice that. Okay, make yourself light with gravity. We can certainly do that. We certainly feel lighter with gravity this way. Okay, now can you make yourself feel heavy with gravity? Shins press down, knees press down, hands flat. Press the hands as if you could press them through your mat, feeling the different kind of strength there. Now let's find the Goldilocks approach to that. Same thing, shift the hips back one more time. Create that shelf through the upper arms. Again, Goldilocks, right? That even balanced approach to our practice. So we're able to remain light here, especially through the psoas, up through the neck, the jawline, down through the tailbone, but strong through the arms, through the legs. See, now that's what it's after. That's what we're after. That's the difference. It's not just lightness, it's not just heaviness, right? It's that middle path there. And then we'll just flow, cat and cow, or maybe kind of going non-linear, going side to side, lateral flexion. Feels good, kind of moving the hips, swaying the hips a little bit here. Nice, slow, fluid motion. Anything that feels good here. Again, neck stays relaxed, forehead stays soft. Nice and slow. All right, one more time. And then let's shift back into our child's pose. Knees wide. Let's find our forehead to a block, or if you have an egg, either way, move it to the side. And we're just gonna rock softly side to side, heavy side to side, from temple to temple, really slow. Exploring any tension patterns there. What do you notice? This is an excellent exercise to relieve that long, taut back line of tension that comes from our forward hunched posture, or a posture of stress, a posture of collapse, right? There is a cost for that, and we can't necessarily notice it every day. I mean, sometimes there's extreme versions, and you see that with people with really poor postures, right? The widow's hump, or the really hunched over back there looking at the ground. Well, it's because of that back line. So just notice that. What are we holding on to that we can let go of there, especially from brow to brow? All right, so resting, pausing. Remember our intention, our new contract for our practice: grounded, centered, calm, and yet strong, a different kind of strength. Notice how strong you are deep down. Trust in your ability to navigate these difficult times. We're practicing that here on the mat. That's what we're practicing. It's a very important medicine that we're doing right now. All right, let's go ahead and come back up. Now we're gonna move through our modified half series. I have the blocks on either side. So as we shift back, right, we're just coming into our extended child's pose. You can keep the toes tucked, keeping the shoulders a little unweighted here. I like to lift my hands, or I should say my fingers up, keeping my palms grounded, and intentionally place each finger down, remembering to ground. That same feeling of connection, even through the palms as we turn the palms open, or I should say those two jars open. Feel the armpits kind of hug in, that connection there, but stay grounded through the hands. Inhale slowly, lifting from the belly. Feel the knees press down, the shoulders go forward. Exhale, elbows hug in, option to lower onto our bellies. Inhale, gentle cobra. You could also just do cat cows, just what we were doing before, resting in child's pose as you need it. As we exhale, we're gonna find gravity with the whole front body. We're gonna feel the elbows to shoulders hug in, triceps strong, but calm as we lift up, kneeling plank. That's an inhale. Exhale, shifting back, extended child's pose. Scoop the belly, sacrum presses up and back, tailbone drops down. This should feel good. Shoulders, face, stay soft. Now let's flow with our breath. Inhaling, coming up through our kneeling plank. Exhaling, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhaling, gentle cobra, soften through the back of the heart. Exhaling, finding gravity, hugging the arms in. Pause here. Inhaling, pressing up even through the hands. Exhaling, shifting back, extended child's pose. Inhaling one more time, coming up through our plank. Feel that even response to the front and the back body. Keeping the chest, the throat, the jaw soft as we lower down. That's an exhale. Inhaling gentle cobra, find the top of the feet. Feel the tail reach towards the feet. Exhaling, finding our gravity, finding our ground below us, feeling comforted, protected in the belly and the chest. Hug the arms in from that place of confidence and connection. Let's lift up. Big inhale, lifts up through kneeling plank. Exhale, extended child's pose. Inhaling, when we're ready, let's bring our right foot forward, just coming into our kneeling lunge. Option to find our blocks. Allowing the left hip to relax. Maybe fan the toes of the right foot and then drop them heavy again. Shoulders, neck relaxed. Right hand can root down. Option to float the left arm, keeping long and relaxed to the left side of the body, right? Staying lifted through the low back. I like to term pinky side of my hand back. Neck, shoulder, everything stays relaxed. Exhaling, left hand comes down. Let's go ahead and find the block with the left hand. Let's take our right arm out to the side. Take slow shoulder circles here. Doesn't matter which direction. Let the movement come from behind the heart, the place we're trying to relax. And then the other direction. Again, nice and slow. And then inhale, maybe roll the arm back. Keep the elbow though bent, the thumb soft. So a little bit different kind of twist here, yes? Exhaling slowly, we're gonna reach out. Feel the arm reach out of the spine here. Really reach, reach, reach. And then right hand comes down and we shift the hips back. Maybe find both blocks. Fan the toes. Gently pull the right leg nice and long, but let the breath help aid the rest of the way of movement. Big breath, lengthening through the right leg. Exhaling, softening behind the knee. Inhaling, breathe the right leg long. Exhaling, feel the hips shift back a little bit more, fanning the toes. Coming forward, right foot comes forward. Let's go ahead and bring the hands either side of the foot and bring the right knee back, extended child's pose. Nice big breath, maybe this time coming up onto our fingertips here. Get some traction, stay a little lifted through the belly. Inhaling, breathing into the side seams of our shirt. Exhale, resisting the mat with the fingertips. Feel the hips shift back, get some space. When we're ready, placing the palms flat, inhaling back through our kneeling plank, maybe taking a half series or cat-cow, exhaling, chaturanga, nice and slow. Find gravity, inhaling, find strength, but softness through the heart. Exhaling, lowering, finding the earth. Inhaling, cultivating strength through the midline, finding that centered approach to our movement as we slowly come up and back into extended child's pose. When we're ready, left foot comes forward. Again, find that heavy feeling through the foot, maybe finding the blocks on either side. We could also pause and just kind of rock side to side, allowing the right hip to feel more relaxed as it comes forward as opposed to pushing it forward. You know, how we get there is everything. And not that we just want a long, taut hip flexor. We actually don't want that. We want a nice, relaxed hip flexor, like a caterpillar unwinding there. Yeah, that's the continuation of the psoas line. And then let's go ahead and slowly take the left hand is gonna root down. So grounding through the left leg. Feel the left femur bone heavy, left foot really grounds, and then the right arm optionally comes up. Pinky side of the hand rotates back. And again, we want to feel this whole right side grow naturally long, right? From a more fluid spine, from a breath that runs along the spine, up through the arm, down to the interior part of the right thigh, the inner thigh. The whole line grows the right side long. And then again, when we're ready, right hand comes down to the block or to the mat, left arm comes out. And again, slow shoulder movement here, nice and relaxed, staying relaxed. So shoulders, hips, we looked at that. Where are compensation patterns? Now we're looking at the tops of the shoulders, the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, the jaw, the chin, the eyes. Wow, all those different places. So oftentimes you see that in the twist. Again, option to come into a twist here. Can we keep the neck, even behind the ear, the jaw, the mastoid process down the chin line, soft and relaxed here as we twist? When we're ready, inhale, we're gonna reach, but feeling the arm grow out of the spine. Again, coming back, option to shift the hips back, maybe finding the blocks. Fan the toes, breathing the left leg nice and long, using the breath. So the breath is a better creator of space and more enduring sense of space to those deeper water lines of the body. We're getting out of the focus of just muscles and bones, but hey, what about the connective tissue? All right, what about the myofascial lines? Those are the emotional waterways, the webbing of the emotions where maybe things have gotten congested or there's like a toxic sludge, right? There's a pulling because we can't move the energy there. That's what the breath does for us. Starts to get the water flowing again in places it hasn't flowed maybe for a long time. And then slowly shifting forward. Again, option to take a flow, option to take a rest. Exhaling, extended child's pose. If we flow, let's flow with the breath. Let the breath guide us, navigate us here on the mat. Inhaling to our plank. Exhaling, feeling our way to the mat. Inhaling again, gentle cobra. Check the neck, check the shoulders, the jaw, the face. Exhaling back to the earth. Again, heavy through the thighs, heavy through the hips. Arms hug in, press into the interior part of the hands, scoop the belly, press the knees, big inhale, presses up. Exhale, reaches back. One more time, let's find our block, our egg, bringing our forehead there. We can also, by the way, if this bothers knees or ankles, we can have the hips high. We can have the toes tucked. This is great. We can really relax the belly here and find a deeper, more connected breath. We can still rock side to side. Let's find a touchstone for our practice, a grounding, calming affirmation or mantra, right? Calm strength is one I turn to in times where I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm moving into the different vagal responses. I can feel it in the world happening around me. And then, boy, do I start to experience it in a powerful way. And I allow myself to. I'm like, it's okay. This is strength too. Allowing ourselves to turn inward, allowing ourselves to turn to those places, embodied places of healing. Sometimes we got to curl up like a caterpillar. It's okay. What we don't want to do is check out the process. Stay with the process. Trust in the process. Awareness is everything. When we're ready, let's go ahead and come up. Now, we have a choice. Downward dog is not for everybody, I get it. You can do forearm dog, might be a little challenging moving through the warriors, or you can just do extended child's pose, totally fine, right? Make a choice that is right for you today. So tucking our toes, let's just go ahead and slowly start to pedal our heels here. Again, slowly side to side, really focusing on feeling alternate, or I should say opposite arm and hand, right? Move with the leg that's straight. And so you can kind of find that diagonal pattern. Again, those myofascial connective tissue lines of the body here. Again, nice and slow, heavier feeling through the legs. And then we'll go ahead and just pause, knees bent, breathing the back of the legs nice and long. That same feeling of hugging the armpits in, hands super grounded, especially knuckles, webbing of the hand, breathing the sits bones back and apart. Right, feel that balanced approach, strength through the arms, the legs, grounded, but ability to breathe, right, through the caterpillar body. Can you feel that still alive, vibrant, aware? And then let's go ahead and bring the right foot forward, nice and slow. Option to bring the back knee down. Right, we're just gonna flow through our sun salutations nice and slow. If we're coming up through our crescent lunge, we wanna really extend a lot more to the back leg. Option to float both arms softly overhead, maybe a little bit of chest expansion, thumbs stay soft, keeping the back lifted, heart soft and open. Exhaling, hands float back to the earth, right foot steps back to the left, downward facing dog. Remember your choices. Inhaling, coming forward to plank. I'm going to go ahead and bring my knees down. You have a choice. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, gentle cobra. Again, feel the caterpillar body expand to the front. Exhaling, slowly back to the earth. Keeping the knees pressing, feel the triceps hug in. Let's press up through plank, tucking the toes back to downward facing dog. When we're ready, other side, left foot coming forward. You may have to give it a nice big help out there. Railroad track legs. Feel the caterpillar body open up, right? That fluidity, but the strength through the legs. The strength comes from the legs. The neck, the shoulders, the jaws stay nice and relaxed. When we're ready, hands come on either side. This time we're going to go ahead and step forward, right foot to the left into a forward fold. Now, knees bent, belly to the thighs. Feel free, grab a block. right? That's what they're there for. I love blocks. If you can keep your belly to the thighs, head heavy, fingertips nice and relaxed. Let's just sway a little bit here, turning on a lot of the proprioception through the feet, but also because our heads are towards the ground, vestibular system is on, right? It's like, oh, you're upside down. Hey, but I'm supposed to be upside down. It's intentional. Okay, good. But we're still turning on the vestibular system. Okay, pausing through center. Now, either fingertips to the floor or blocks, your choice. I'll use my blocks just to show you. Let's round. Remember that thing we did in cat-cow? Let's do that here. So really round, feel that same experience. Pull the belly in, feel the spine arc towards the ceiling. And then inhale, expand outward. So it's a little bit like monkey, a little bit like cow here, right? Strong through the legs without locking the legs out. Head, neck stays relaxed the whole time. See, that doesn't change. From the shoulders, neck up, both postures, same face, right? Exhaling, rounding, feel the strength shift back to the heels. Feel the back body really expand here. Inhale, feel the strength through the back body, allowing the chest to stay soft and open. The throat, the front of the throat, nice and soft. One more time, exhaling, rounding through the spine. Really press the feet into the mat. That should make it feel a little differently. Inhaling, coming halfway up, this time moving the hands to the shins, maybe up to the thighs. Let's draw the shoulders by the ears intentionally, down the back. Nice and slow, flowing the heart open, coming into extended mountain. Exhale, sinking into our chair. Making sure we can still see our toes. Imagine just really stretching them out apart here. Inner thigh spiral down, scooping the belly, neck, shoulders relax. Inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, the breath moves us to the earth, floating ourselves. Butterfly float down to the ground. Inhaling, halfway up. Exhaling, let's just go ahead and step back with the right leg and then the left, downward facing dog or extended child's pose. Let's go ahead and rock left and right here. Just noticing the difference. Again, that nice heavy sensation. So grounded to the left side. Can you feel light through the right side foot, yes. And then slowly let the right foot just lift into the air. That levitation feeling, staying grounded through the hands, armpits still hugging in towards one another. Reach long through the inner right thigh, fan the toes, flex the foot. On the exhale, we're gonna slowly come forward, suspended runner's lunge, scooping the belly. And this time, let's place the right foot between the hands, wherever we can get it, yeah. Some days I feel like it happens, some days it doesn't. Back foot flatten at an angle, so more of our wide stance, warrior one. Same thing with the arms though. Inhaling, firming through the outer back foot, lifting up into our warrior one, our wide stance, warrior one. Thumbs stay soft. Let's just go ahead and straighten through the front leg just for a moment. Let's see if we can align the left hip bone more forward. If we need to kick the back heel back out a little bit more, totally fine. On the exhale, chest expansion, softening behind the heart, right? Feeling more radiant, right? The face able to smile effortlessly. In fact, it just wants to, right? It feels so good to do this. Inhaling, maybe straightening through the front leg, lifting through the low belly. Feel the arms naturally expand like tree branches. Exhaling, chest expansion, heavy, sinking, grounded. One more time, big breath, inhaling, floating the arms overhead. Now exhale, we're gonna turn into warrior two. I'm gonna flip around, so I'm not facing behind you. You're good where you're at. You got this, warrior two. You don't have to look at me. You know what warrior two is. So front foot cuts a back foot in half, back foot is parallel. Floating the arms softly out to the side, right? We wanna feel two directions of movement. Strength through the legs as it stretches them out apart a little bit, yes. But then this softness, this growth pattern, very much like a tree, right? Of the canopy growing up through the arms. That means the thumbs, the neck, the face stays soft. Any kind of warrior flow here that you want. So we can go through reverse warrior, keeping the front knee bent, right? Reaching the right arm. Exhaling, anchoring through the feet as we move into extended angle. Slow, fluid, grounded, connected movement. Inhale, reverse warrior, maybe with the front leg straight this time. Exhale, keeping the front leg straight, floating into triangle. Nice. So again, can we flow here? Back to warrior two, maybe back to reverse warrior, maybe coming into extended angle. Doesn't matter what the arms do, by the way, right? That doesn't matter. Inhaling, reverse warrior with the front leg straight. exhaling, coming into triangle. The whole time the arms stay relaxed, the shoulders, the neck, the face, the legs get stronger. Mula bandha here through the legs as we hold triangle for just a minute. You can keep the front knee bent, is totally fine. Finding that deep line and keeping the chest open. So as we move from that deeper core sense of strength and awareness, right, connected to the pelvic floor, up through the spine, through the psoas, relax through the neck, then the spine aligns naturally. We don't have to force it to move in some unnatural way to get it to open. It's just open, yes? Nice. And then slowly we're gonna bend the right knee. Let's walk our hands to the middle of our legs, turning our feet to parallel, adjusting so this feels great. Just a perfect stance here. Feel free, grab a block. That's what it's there for. I like to rock forward and back. Just nice and slow. Keep the knees a little to a lot bent, your choice. This is where we get to really check in here with our practice. Where do those tension patterns start to creep up into, right? We know the tops of the shoulders, the sides of the neck, down through the jawline, around the cheekbones. So can you melt the cheekbones into the eye sockets a little bit more here? And then can we just let the top of the head open up, energetically pouring out, right? Really feeling this beautiful rocking is calming to the nervous system. And then slowly we're going to lift halfway up, coming up to our fingertips or the block. Let's go ahead and turn the heels in, bend the knees, toes out, coming up through our either moonflowers or sunflowers. So this becomes like our sun salutations, our vinyasa flow. What's the point of that? We're moving with the breath. So it's an inhale to lift up. It's an exhale, heavy through both legs, but light through the toes as the hips come down. Again, finding maybe that imagery of sun and moon here. So as we exhale, sinking into the night, the dark, inhale, moving up to the light from that place of strength, but the feet are still grounded in the dark, yes? Notice that. There's a little bit of dark and light in everything. Yes? I love Dr. Eben Alexander. We're just continuing to flow with our breath here. Any kind of movement with the arms is fine, with the spine is fine, really. And he says, you know, he had this experience where he went into a coma. Viral meningitis ate his brain, really. Now, good news is he survived it. It was a miracle. He's basically brain dead. He was also, by the way, previous to that, an agnostic or an atheist of sorts. As a neurosurgeon, he worked on brains, he understood them. He thought consciousness rested just in the frontal lobe. That's where it came from, that's where it was produced, that's all there is, that's what science says. Well, he had experience beyond that where he went to heaven. In fact, his book is called Proof of Heaven, and he says proof for a reason. In it, he said his experience of God was a dazzling darkness. I think of a piece of coal with that white, you can see the diamond that it could become in it, right? Just shining out of it, glittery, just like us. We're in a pressure cooker right now. If we're not becoming diamonds, then I don't know what this is. This is definitely, we are being made into diamonds, aren't we though? Isn't that lovely? When we're ready, let's slowly come forward. Hip hinge forward, fold feet, parallel one more time. Keeping the knees soft. Let's go ahead and bring our left hand out to the outer right leg. Just gently coming down this left side, breathing the left side nice and long. Can we allow the forehead to soften a little bit more? Again, gently coming in without forcing it. And then slowly, when we're ready, we're just going to walk our hands over to the other side. So the right hand reaches over to the left side of the leg, or wherever we can find. Blocks are useful for that as well. Again, big breath, allowing the breath to bring us home to ourselves here in these forward folds. That's what we love about them. Right? We come home to ourselves. We feel more connected at home in our bodies, wanting to be in our bodies, wanting to be here just because it feels good and that's it. And isn't that magnificent? What a superpower that is, right, in the world, to feel content for no reason, just happy to be. And then when we're ready, let's go ahead and turn our left foot out, right foot parallel. So slowly adjusting our alignment here on our mats, making sure we're staying really grounded through the outer leg. I like to take my right hand to my right hip here and just kind of smooth the outer right hip, grounding through the right foot, like super gluing the right foot, yes. And then scooping the air with the right hand, slowly floating up to our warrior two. Again, feeling all the directions of movement, right? Through the legs, super strong, up through the spine, nice and tall, and then through the arms. So that 5-pointed star kind of feeling here. And then reaching and coming into reverse warrior. You guys know the feet are grounded and stable here. We're floating into extended angles. You can really move however you want through any of the warriors, right? Reverse warriors or triangles, whatever feels good. Maybe reverse warrior with the left leg straight. Again, slowly, fluidly, evenly into our triangle, spine naturally aligned without effort. So again, continue to find your fluid movement. Trust in your breath to take you to new places, to map a different experience here. I don't want to come to my mat and have the same experience. Do you? Nope, I sure don't. And when we're ready, let's just meet in triangle pose. We don't have to have the arm into the air. We can have it onto the hip. Absolutely. Next stage, relax. That's the most important thing. Finding Mula Bandha, feeling the inner thighs come in, right? That deep frontal line aligns us here, allows the shoulders, the neck to be relaxed. Nice big breath, take up a lot of space. How much space can you take up? Send out this light like a beacon to the world. Exhaling, hands come down to the middle one more time, turning the feet to parallel. Again, just allowing any kind of forward fold that feels good here. If you want, you can certainly bend the knees, bring the top of the head to a block. That's about as far as I can get, right? Coming into a more restful, restorative forward fold. Allowing the breath to once again bring comfort flowing into our body. Feeling the belly effortlessly move with the breath. Let the body breathe you. And then slowly, let's go ahead and walk our hands over to our left foot. We're just gonna step back into a forward fold. Right foot to the left. Easy forward fold here, maybe a little bit of that cat-cow. And then walking the hands up to the thighs. Let's go ahead and come all the way up to standing. So we're gonna move into a tree pose here. Standing, balancing, yes. So let's just find ourselves evenly between both feet, right? That balanced approach. So it helps for me to just kind of rock left to right. Imagine your feet are super glued into the mat, like you couldn't lift them up, right? So feeling that opposite feeling. So it's like this unweighting and then grounding, unweighting and then grounding. And now finding center. Notice the body likes to find that. So bringing the hands maybe to heart center to start in our mountain pose. Let's do some imagery work here as well. I love imagery work for the limbic part of the mind. And I got this from a recent student. She was lovely and she had this imagery of fog. And I love that fog. We're in a fog, like thick pea soup fog feeling right now. It's okay, let's go into it. So often we want to fight what's happening. What if we just accepted it? What if we just said, yes, I don't see the path forward very clearly here. I'm unsure. I'm scared. I'm anxious at times. I don't know what I'm going to do. Yes. And you still are you. And there's still a plan unfolding. We don't have to necessarily see it. So we are in a fog. Let's imagine that fog all around us. If we feel steady, we'll just close our eyes here for a moment. Again, imagine being enveloped in that thick fog, unable to take a step forward. We can't see. We don't know where we're going. It's okay. When that happens, pause. Turn inward. Turn on that internal GPS. Ask for help. Ask for support from the universe. I can't see clearly right now. Can you help me? Ask and you shall receive. And then let's just maybe imagine we can clear the fog with our movements. Let's just slowly release our arms out to the side. And we're just going to take one big movement across the body with the right arm and then slowly over to the left. Maybe allow our gaze to follow our hand movement right to left, swimming our way through this fog, clearing the fog. You can kind of feel it swirling around you. Soft drishti to our hands as they move orbiting around us. The fog is getting less and less, it's starting to dissipate a little bit. And we can feel this bright light, or maybe we can start to see it like a lighthouse fog, yes? Right? That yellow fog light. Oh, can you imagine that radiating out from you? You're the lighthouse. Can you feel that light turning in all directions? Maybe a little bit of twisting with the knees bent as we go side to side, right? Maybe flowing with the arms more fluidly, both arms. Now really clearing the fog. Ah, it's coming clearer now. I have a light to guide my way. I feel calm and strong, confident to navigate this new path. I have a strong GPS. This internal navigation system is turned on, and the universe is here to help me. Coming through center, let's shift our weight over to one leg. Doesn't matter which one. Just unweight the opposite foot, coming into our tree pose. Notice how grounded we feel now, how centered we feel, how light we feel at the same time, connected on our path, determined, confident, connected. We've been shepherded all along. The fog was just an illusion. We call that Maya in yoga. Maya is just the illusion of matter around us. What it's doing, don't get connected to that. It's changing form as well, just like we are right now, every second. And then let's slowly release, finding the other foot, maybe just taking a moment, just rocking side to side or even front to back. That's kind of cool. Heavy feet again, and then coming over to the other way, any kind of tree pose, option to float our branches overhead. We don't have to. Again, can you feel this imagery of a lighthouse? Can you feel the light streaming from top to bottom, out through the top of the head, out through our hands? If people are turning to you right now, asking you questions, it's because you are the light that they are seeking in these dark times, right? You are connected to the eternal light that never turns off, that's created the universe within you. And coming through center, pausing. Nice deep breath. Exhaling deeply into the body, down to the legs, down to the feet. Inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, swan dive, forward fold. So as we come onto our mats, and I'm just going to get a little drink of water here. Let's come onto our belly. So keeping something nearby, right, that we can use for belly pressing pose. So either a pillow or like a blanket or something like that. That's wonderful. If you have a blanket or a pillow, you may also use that here for one of our postures. I'm going to use eggs for this. So as we come forward to our kneeling plank, we're going to come onto our bellies. And nice and slow. Just walk the hip bones back. Let's just go ahead and stack our hands, bring our forehead, our cheek to our hands. Let's bend our knees. Feet kind of float into the air, and we'll just roll the ankles around. Nice and slow, both directions. Maybe squeeze the toes, wiggle the toes, it feels good. And then just rocking the legs side to side, nice and heavy. Deep breath into the belly. So dropping our awareness into our bellies. We want to turn on what's called interoception, and we're going to do that here using the ground, the pressure to the ground. We're going to use the breath as it drops into the belly, just like an anchor. Let the breath, especially the exhale, float deeper into the belly, about 2 inches below the belly button, that deep. And then releasing the legs nice and long. Let's just go ahead and come up into Sphinx pose. Now, you can just do Sphinx pose with the elbows a few inches or 2 inches in front of the shoulders, relaxing the belly here, allowing the heart to naturally open. Or if you have like a blanket and you want to put it here for support, I have these eggs. And so they're a nice wedge as well, but you can use lots of different props here if you want to. So finding that support. Remember, I asked you to ask the universe for support. We don't have to ride it alone. So as we pause here in our supported Sphinx pose, let's just notice that maybe there is help to be had, but we are scared to ask for it. Maybe it's real physical, material help, and we need to get that. And there are resources for that. Let's find the strength and confidence to ask for those resources, to trust that they will be given to us and our needs will be taken care of. That's important, right? There's no bypassing survival needs. You know, we can all be taken to that place where all we're worried about is, you know, how are we going to survive this? in a very real material way. That's important to acknowledge. And sometimes we have to ask for that help, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what it's there for. Very often, the missing help we don't want to ask for. Maybe we've already asked for that structural help, and it's the emotional help that we need. Can we find within us the confidence and the strength to reach out when we need to make ourselves vulnerable, and especially here in the heart center, in the chamber of our heart? Notice when that fear takes hold, the worry takes hold, the anxiety, what does the heart do? It collapses, yes? That collapsing through the chest that happened, the shoulders come in. If you notice we're taking that posture, that's just a sign we need some emotional support. We all do. Nobody gets through this unscathed, and nobody is going to get through it by themselves. We all are going to need some help. Can we find that determination to ask for help, to be okay with asking for help? I'm asking for your help. I don't like asking for help. I like to think I can do it on my own. It's scary to ask for help, but I need it. I need your love and support, your compassion, your understanding when I don't have good days, and I definitely don't. Let's breathe into that. Let's just notice what happens to us in the heart center and the shoulders, the neck, the jaws. Allow it to soften through our own compassion. And then when we're ready, let's just slowly release. If we had something supporting us, notice the support there through the heart, how easier it made it, maybe to keep the heart open. That's what our emotional support does for us. And then we're going to come back to our bellies, forehead to our hands. One more time, our cheek, maybe big toes together, heels open, creating that diamond shape here through the ankles, internally rotating from the hips. Now shift awareness to the sacrum and around the sacrum. Can we just soften that space as well? A lot of our connective tissues and ligaments around there, they get congested, tight, tense. That's where a lot of the congestion emotionally happens. And so can we feel that release? And it pours out from around the sacrum to the sides of the hips, maybe down through the legs, through the low back. So we free up a lot of that energy, making it available for us to use. And then slowly coming up onto one forearm, let's bend our right knee to left forearm, gently bending our right knee. We're just going to come up into, well, first of all, just draw the heel in a little closer. We can grab to the outer leg if that feels okay. Not pulling too much, keeping the front of the thigh relaxed. So relaxing and releasing deeply through the front of the right thigh. Let the right hip flexor melt. Now we can certainly stay here. Or if it's available to us, we're going to flip our grip to the inner part. Yes, and we're just going to come into half bow. Now we're going to keep the right thigh connected, same thing, but we're going to pull back through the right leg, right? Relaxing still through the right hip, right? I mean, I know it's a little active, but coming into half our bow, coming into this beautiful heart opener. Noticing where those patterns of disconnection are here, especially through behind the heart. As we bring awareness into them, you can feel, right, the restitching of the fabric behind the heart, more connected, allowing the front of the heart to expand and open, keeping the neck relaxed. And then when we're ready, let's just slowly switch sides. So relaxing the right leg, let's come over to the left. Again, we'll just start by drawing the heel in gently. Again, releasing through the front of the left thigh. We're propping ourselves up through our right forearm. Nice big breath, keeping the belly free and easy. Keeping the fluid waters of connection to the belly. Again, turning on interoception, that interior sense of self that comes from the belly. And then option to flip the grip, right? So coming to the inner part of the foot. Again, drawing back, we can lift up through the right forearm. But can we stay connected as we come into this beautiful heart opener with the shoulders, the neck relaxed? If we can't, let's choose a posture that we can stay connected in. One of the problems in stress and trauma, those situations, we tend to check out, and it's a disassociation that is not healthy. Yeah, sometimes we daydream, and that's okay, and creative thoughts, or would take us places, meditation. But the disembodied stressful state is very problematic. So let's stay connected. Let's breathe. Let's stay aware. And then again, let's slowly release. Now, this is where we're going to bring something into our bellies if it's okay. And if it's not, we'll just stay here and rest into our bellies with a lot of awareness. You can take a blanket. I have a pillow here. So belly pressing pose to really open up the interoception channels. Now, forehead can come back to our hands or cheek to our hands, right? Any kind of comfortable movement through the legs. So whatever the legs want to do here is fine. And then now really use the breath and expand into the belly with the breath more. You might find a different experience here. More to the sides of the belly. Lengthening the exhale out a little bit longer. So as we turn on interoception through the vagus nerve in the belly, right, that big wandering nerve that innervates everything in our gut, our enteric nervous system, our psoas, the lower heart and the lungs, we're turning on the most ancient, primitive system of awareness and intelligence that we have. Now, it sends messages and of awareness really quickly up to the brain. And it doesn't speak in language like we think of it, right? It's really bodily awareness. It's the first awareness that organized us in evolutionary terms. So it comes from like jellyfish. That's all they have, really. Notice we still have that here into our bellies. And as we turn on and acknowledge that system of awareness, we can start to swim like jellyfish, definitely more like jellyfish in our lives. Notice it's a passive system of movement that they have. They have to find the current to move. Yes, they can move a little bit, but very little on their own. So here we just trust here in the gut. Again, fluid waters flowing there in and out. Relaxing more through the diaphragm so those waters travel up and we can feel that connection up to the diaphragm. Feeling maybe more relaxed lateral breath there, side to side of the diaphragm. And then up from behind the heart, up to the neck and the jaws and the face. Feeling so comfortable in our own skin. So content, santosha, contentment, just to be. Increasing our superpowers. If we can go through life like this, wow. During these times, that is a superpower, yes? We're the lucky ones. When we're ready, let's go ahead and move whatever it is underneath our belly. Nice and slow. It's going to feel different. Now we're going to come into an opposite posture. You can just move this to the side. So hands on either side. We're going to slowly come up from our knees. Rounding our spine. Let's come either into rabbit or we can rock forehead to forehead, or I should say temple to temple here. So that's one choice. You can just rest the forehead if you want, or bringing the top of the head gently to the mat, right? We can reach back towards our heels, rounding the spine a little bit, breathing, softening through the belly. Feel the belly gently pull in, supporting the low back here. That feels good after that posture. So our rabbit pose. Barely pressing the top of the head into the mat. Breathing along the spine to the back body, allowing it to calm down. Again, reintegrating ourselves front, middle, back. Nice big breath here, deepening our breath. And then slowly coming up. As we come to seated, we're going to swing our legs around. Let's come into our seated forward fold. So as we come into a seated forward fold, option is to find your blanket or your pillow, whatever you have, blocks of your eggs. I'm going to go ahead and place my eggs underneath my legs. You could put a pillow there as well. And I'm going to put my pillow here. Yay. Oh, good. It's nap time. It's coming in comforting time. Anything you have to support yourself here, right? This is not like a stretch forward fold. This is, let's melt into the forward fold. So the forehead can come to the hands or to a block. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and add a block here, right? Oh, that's so much better. So learning to find postures of ease, learning to feel at ease. Remember, that's a practice called santosha, contentment. When we can find contentment in our practice, then that's a map that we can find contentment in our lives from when it's going difficult. If all we seek out is sensation, stretch, feeling, then that is almost an addictive response. That's the same feeling then in our lives, and it can come in weird ways, right? And then I turn and seek out sensation, deep, intense sensations in my life. Now, maybe there's times for that, but what if I could just walk with contentment through my life? Well, that'd be a pretty miraculous life, wouldn't it? But isn't that what the great teachers have taught us? To find contentment regardless of the situation. And in any given situation, we can find contentment. We have reached the highest achievement that man can. That would be from Dr. Viktor Frankl, who spent a lot of his life in a concentration camp. He was able to find that. I don't know how. I don't want that kind of trial in my life. But if you did, could you find contentment there? That's your superpower. That's what it means. Find contentment here. This is easy. Notice the ego or something, or the mind says, oh, fight this dude the hard way. Why? Can't we find the easy way here? There's a bigger middle path. When we're ready, nice and slow, we're going to come up, taking our time. Again, it should feel super duper good to come up that way. Yes. All right, coming on to our backs, taking our time. Feel free to find something, eggs, blocks, whatever it is. So we're going to take an opposite leg here and slowly lower down. I'm going to get a sip of water just real quick so I can keep talking through it. So as we come onto our backs, let's go ahead and find a supportive butterfly pose. This is where if you want to have something to put on too, I should have said that, right? Putting on my little sweater here. I feel like Mr. Rogers sometimes. Oh, where's Mr. Rogers now? We need a Mr. Rogers right now. Okay, so coming onto our backs, butterfly pose, supported, so feet together, right? Let's wedge the blocks or the eggs underneath our thighs, hands to the belly. Nice deep breath. Again, finding the shoulders, relaxing there, finding the hips, relaxing there. Obviously, the interior part of the hips here, a different part of the hips. Noticing it's a different experience there of awareness versus the outer part of the hips. Right? It's more of our tender underbelly. It's a very protective area of us. So I'm going to be very patient here with it. I'm going to just be soft and calm, feeling nice and relaxed. What is our imagery that we could use here that could aid us? I like to imagine right now, especially a nice warm summer breeze all around me. And then I am a butterfly floating on the wind. I wonder what the butterfly's experience actually is. They're a completely different organism than us. What's their experience as they float? I try to imagine myself that carefree, a dazzling array of colors in all directions. They see color differently. They once were caterpillars. They once had to go into a dark cocoon and trust and get deconstructed, go into that really scary, unknowing place and trust. But look what they got in return. It's tough. It's a tough thing to ask of you, of me. But knowing I go in there not alone, but with you, oh, is so helpful right now. And we can willingly go to that place together, staying aware. Another big breath. And then releasing, bringing the feet flat. Let's move the eggs or blocks to the side. Remember back to that gentle twisting we started with. Let's bring our right leg over our left. An option to prop this twist. You may want to move the hips up and over to the right. Put a block or something underneath the left hip without forcing the twist. Arms gently out to the side, turning the head to the right. Breathing awareness. Can you feel the outer right hip just melt back into the body? There's a word here I love, remembering. We are being remembered. There is a great remembering happening here, isn't there? Can we feel that happening within us, coming back home, tending to our wounds, remembering? And then slowly, really slowly, when we're ready, unwinding, taking our time. We'll just move our hips up and over to the left, wrap left leg over the right, maybe wedge the block or egg underneath our right hip, and just turning our head to the left nice and slow. Again, breathing, softening into the outer left hip, letting it come back into us. I have the imagery of a baby in the womb, right? Swimming in those waters. Everything that baby needs is right there. Notice how that baby grows. Starts like caterpillar, right? And then it starts to form these beautiful limbs and a head and eyes and nose, all the things, the magical things. And that baby did that without anybody messing with it, really, right? It just had to have all the support and all the love. That same growth, direction, and movement, amazing, creative, oh, magical thing is still us. We're still that. That's growth is still happening just because we came out of the womb. It was manifest in us, it was planted in us. We are the ecstatic cosmos dancing all within us. That same material is still here. The same energetic blueprint that allowed us to become us in the womb in a magical way is still wanting us to come step fully into our creative potential. That is still happening if we just allow it. Effortless is what that is. And then again, slowly unwinding back through center, just moving everything out of the way. Any final movement here that feels good. You may want to hug knees in, rock side to side, feels so good on the back waist. Maybe curl up, right? Like tight, tight, tight little caterpillar. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then any kind of Shavasana, choice sit. So we can go back to constructive rest, how we started. We can lay on our side. We can lay on our belly, butterfly. I like laying on my belly these days. I find it so comforting. Oh, so give it a try. I'm going to come seated for just a moment to talk you through a brief relaxation. So wherever we're at, how much more content can you make yourself? You want to wrap a blanket around you? Go do it. You want to put your head on a pillow? Go do it. What can you do to make yourself feel better? That's important. We need the whole world to make themselves feel better right now. We especially need our warriors like you to feel good, to feel strong and calm, ready to come back into the battle. What is this a battle for? The image of what we're going to walk out of that pea soup into, the image of what the world is going to hold valuable and valued, the belief systems, all of that is changing. You are the warrior changing that. We've kind of been secretly preparing like the rebel forces, yes? Now's our time though. Now's our time. Stepping into that future together, creating it together, here, right now, with what you're doing. Very important. So let's just relax our jaws. Let's bring our awareness down into our bellies. Let's come back to those energetic waters where we swim like jellyfish. Imagery of floating through the water like jellyfish, trusting that it's carrying us where we need to go through the currents of life. Seeing all the beautiful things, all the beautiful stories, cherishing every one of those stories. We will sing about this time for generations. Remember when the world changed? We were there. I was there. I was with you. Remember when we came together in this way? We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know where we were going. We'll look back and say, it's clear now. It's not now, right? I know, not right now, but it will be. Trust, trust. Softening through the eye sockets, around the eye sockets, seeing new eyes, liquid golden pools of energy rest there now instead of our eyes. We see differently. We hear differently, deepening the place between ear to ear, deepening that space from inner ear to inner ear, deep, deep, deep. And from temple to temple, we think differently. It's like coming above the surface of the water, and it's perfectly clear now. We can see for miles. We swim in calm waters. And then through the jawline, around the mouth, the inner part of the mouth, around the teeth. Each tooth has space. No need to clench our jaws. No need to bite with our words. We speak softly, kindly, compassionately. Yes, words when we need to. Smiling often. I see you. I know what you're going through. I understand from these deep place of awareness in my belly, from these deep waters now that I'm connected to. I can lend that understanding to every person I meet. I'm bringing them water and medicine every time I can do that because I've done this. Staying here and doing this as long as we need to. I will see you back in the workshop in 10, 15 minutes. Namaste.